Good morning and happy day one of the Upside Down readathon. I've decided that because of this readathon and also the fact that Starbucks has pumpkin out now, that it is the official start to fall, at least in our house. So today I'm having my coffee out of this cute pink pumpkin mug that I got last night from Walmart of all places. I've been finding out that Walmart actually has like some really great stuff. So this and also a few other things that I'm going to show you in a minute. So because it's officially fall for me now, I'm going to be decorating for Halloween and stuff in this vlog. So I'm very excited about that. As you've seen in my other videos, I've been like slowly accumulating all of my like Halloween decor. So I'm finally going to get to put it out this week. So excited. I'm also just so excited for this week because of the readathon. I'm really excited for the challenges, for like some of the live reading sprints. I think there's one happening on Liv's channel tonight that I'm going to try to participate in. And I'm also just really excited about the books that I'm going to be reading. So I did make a TBR video, but I am just going to really quick run through the books that I'm planning on reading this week. My first book that I've actually already started reading is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I got about 100 pages into this during some live reading sprints on Gwen's channel the other day. That was super fun. It was my very first time ever like kind of hosting or like helping to host reading sprints. It's actually kind of giving me Home Before Dark vibes by Riley Sager, just with the way that the story is told. I picked this book for the challenge to read a book with multiple POVs, and the way that the points of view are told in this book is really similar to Home Before Dark. So far, this book is following Lowen, who's a struggling writer. Her mom has just recently passed away and left her in a really bad financial situation, and she gets like the deal of a lifetime to ghostwrite the rest of a series of books of a really popular author. This popular author has just recently been in an accident and she's unable to finish her really big series that she's been working on. So the author's husband is kind of the one working this deal and stuff. So she is gonna go to this author and like her husband's house, go through her office, try to figure out a timeline of where she was wanting the series to go. And so far where I'm at, she's only been in the house for maybe 1 or 2 days. She's gonna be staying there for a couple of weeks while she kind of figures out where she wants to go with the book series. And some kind of weird things are starting to happen. So far it kind of seems like the wife or the original author, I can't remember her name. Oh, the wife's name is Verity. Wow, okay. Literally what the book is named after. Verity, the author who got into the accident. We don't really know the full extent of the accident so far. The most interesting part of this story so far though is that while Lowen is going through the office, she finds a manuscript from Verity, and it's like an autobiography of her life, how she met and fell in love with her husband, the tragedy that they've gone through in their life. So we are reading this manuscript through Lowen's eyes. So I'm really excited to keep reading this. I'm going to read this during the reading sprints tonight if I can. So yeah, this is my first book. My next book is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I'm picking this up for the prompt to read a psychological thriller. This is supposed to be like a sci-fi thriller following a guy who wakes up and he's not in his previous life. Everything is different. He has a different job, different wife, that kind of stuff. So this sounds like it's going to be like multiple dimensions, and I am so ready for it. I've heard from a lot of people that this is one of their favorite books, so I'm really excited to read it, and I also have an audiobook for it. And then the third book that I'm going to pick up this week is The Saturday Night Ghost Club. I forgot who the author is, but I'll put a picture of the cover right here. I'm picking this book up for 2 of the challenges. One of them is to read a book with lights on the cover, so there are lights inside the windows of the house. And I'm also reading it for the challenge to do one of the buddy reads. So this is the buddy read that Lauren is doing, and it correlates to Steve being our favorite character. That was how you were supposed to pick your buddy read, was by who your favorite Stranger Things character is. So mine is obviously Steve, love him. I also love Hopper, but that wasn't an option with any of the hosts, so we're going with Steve. This is a coming of age book set in the 80s, and it follows a group of kids that have a club where they investigate paranormal things that are happening in their town. So it's very on brand for this readathon, and I just think it's gonna be a fun time. So those are the books that I definitely want to get to this week. If I finish any of them sooner and have time for other books, I'll kind of add them on as I want to, but I'm going to try to at least read those through this week. So now I'm going to move on to non-bookish things. So like I said earlier, I do have some other things from Walmart that I wanted to show you. I think that every single vlog that I've ever done, it like starts with some kind of haul. But honestly, I'm not sorry, because hauls are like so fun, especially Halloween themed ones. So I have some really cute stuff to show you. Okay, so first I have some cute little baby pumpkins. This one is orange with some like glitter on it, and then this one is like a pastel kind of peachy color. Very cute. I also have a few of like this size pumpkin too from Walmart last year, and I don't love the color of them, so also from Walmart yesterday I got some pink spray paint, so I'm gonna spray paint some of them pink. So by the end of this, I would like to have a lot of really cute pink and orange decor in my house. I also got these 2 pumpkins. They're both wicker and I love them, and they fit really good with my house decor because I have a lot of wicker baskets everywhere. I also got this bigger pumpkin while I was there too. And then from Target yesterday, I got this really cute little pink and orange pumpkin wreath. This wreath is my Halloween aesthetic. Like the pink and orange, like cute Halloween is 100% what I'm going for this year. If you've seen my art account, like this is very much the same color scheme and like the same kind of vibe. So like the pink and orange and cute boho is already where my decorating style in general is going, but I especially wanted it to be where like my Halloween decorations start going, so this is literally perfect. In the same section at Target that I got this, I also got this little light. It's just the exact vibe that I'm going for this year. It just fits the aesthetic perfectly, and honestly, I'm probably gonna keep this out all year round because it's just really cute and already kind of like fits my decor. So anyway, I love this and it was only $5. And then the last thing from Target is my little skeleton friend. I initially got him to go by our front door, but I'm kind of nervous about people stealing Halloween decorations, so I think that I might put him like sitting on top of my bookshelves. He's gonna sit right there for now though. That's kind of creeping me out though, honestly. It's like he's looking at me a little bit, like, okay, I'm gonna put you back over here. And I'm not even done with the haul yet. I still have dollar store stuff because dollar store kind of has some great stuff this year. I got these 2 velvet pumpkins that are, again, just totally going with the pink and orange aesthetic, so loved these. And then I also got this skeleton garland. I got 2 of them. My plan is to spray paint these with that same pink spray paint and then put them on a cuter string. And I actually realized last night when I was telling my husband where I was gonna try to put these that I want more of them because I have so many places that I want to put it. So I figured since they're literally from the dollar store, why not just go get more of them? So I might go and do that today. So other than reading, the main plan for today is to go and spray paint everything outside, go get more of the skeletons, and then just kind of like put everything up that I can today. So while I do all of that, I'm going to listen to the audiobook for Dark Matter. But before I do any of that, I need to take the picture for today. The Instagram prompt is to take a picture of your TBR for the week next to a stack of Eggos. And it's perfect timing because I am starving. So I'm gonna take the picture and then eat the Eggos. Not all of it. Are you gonna help me eat it?
Maybe.
Happy day 2 of the readathon. I just got home from work and I changed into some comfy clothes, so I'm all ready to sit down and read. I actually did get quite a bit of reading done today. I listened to more of Dark Matter on audio on my way to work and also during like the first little bit of my work day. I think I'm about halfway through. I think the last time that I looked at the audiobook it said I was like 54% of the way through the book. But I have to say I was feeling really like bored before everything started happening in the middle of the book. I guess it's like fast paced, but like I was waiting forever for the main character to like catch up to where I was at. At this point in the book though, there are things that are starting to happen that I haven't called yet and that I haven't seen coming. So now I just have a lot of questions and I'm along for the ride with these characters. Everything feels really intense and fast-paced. I'm also really liking the science behind everything and how it's being explained to us. This is also the perfect pick for this readathon because it is like multiple dimensions and stuff. One of the characters actually gives a really similar analogy as the one that's given in Stranger Things for the upside down with like the folded piece of paper and the pencil that goes through it. The way that they describe multiple dimensions in this one is like, imagine that you're in a pond and you can't go underneath the pond and you can't go out of the pond. Like if you're a fish, you can only go like back and forth and stuff. And so next to you are a whole bunch of other ponds at the same time. I just thought it was interesting and it definitely gave me Stranger Things vibes, so it is perfect for this readathon. I also read more of Verity last night during reading sprints, and then I also read a little bit at work today while it was slow. So now I'm on page 192. This is just like so crazy and so interesting. One of the last chapters that I read while I was at work literally made my jaw drop. There is just like some really weird and creepy and like disturbing things. I will definitely say that you should look into trigger warnings before you read this book. Anyway though, I'm still really loving this. I feel like I'm just flying through it. I'm reading it so fast. I kind of forget how like easy Colleen Hoover's books are to read. I think that I said that in one of my last vlogs about It Ends With Us. So I'm having a really fun time reading this, even though, I mean, the subject matter is not comfy and cozy and cute all the time. I do have a theory right now about how everything is happening and stuff, and I'm really hoping that I'm wrong because if I'm right, I feel like it'll kind of ruin the book for me a little bit. I feel like since I've read a few thrillers now, I kind of know certain like plot twists and stuff that happen. And as much as I hate calling the ending, I love to try to figure it out as I'm reading. So really I'm just like sabotaging myself. This theory that I have is really just from me saying this is what Colleen wants me to think, so I'm going to assume the opposite of it. So I don't know. I'm really excited to keep reading. Jessie is doing sprints on her channel right now, so I'm gonna hop on and do some reading, but I also really quick wanted to do a little bit of an unboxing. This is a package from Gwen. Look how cute she made it. She put all these like stickers on it. She had an extra copy of a book and she offered to send it to me, which was so nice of her. So this is Killers of a Certain Age and it's by Dina Rayborn. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce their name. Oh my gosh, I just opened it and she put stickers inside. There's a podcast sticker and a little ghosty. Oh my gosh. And then this one's very groovy. It says happy together. These are like so my aesthetic. This literally just made my day. Gwen, you're the best. So I think it's about these older women, ex-assassins that go like on a retirement trip together and someone is trying to kill them. So I'm really excited about this one and I'm so thankful to have a friend like Gwen that would think of me and send this to me. Now I'm going to hop on reading sprints and see how much of Verity I can get done. Happy day 4 of the readathon. I skipped yesterday because I honestly hardly read anything and I didn't really do anything worth filming. I was able to read a few chapters of Verity before I went to bed though. So I am now on page 254, so I have less than 100 pages left of this book. So if I have time today, I'm gonna try to finish this. My thoughts are pretty much the same as day 2. I'm starting to kind of waver in my theory a little bit, but I don't know, part of me is still thinking that it might turn out how I think it's going to. We are getting to the last couple of chapters of Verity's manuscript, and things are just getting even more insane. I almost didn't read this book because everybody was saying like, oh my gosh, it isn't even a thriller, like it was stupid. This is totally a thriller. Like some of the things that I've been reading have had my heart like racing and my jaw dropping. There are just like some really shocking things that are described in this book and I just need answers. So really hoping to finish this today. I don't know if it'll happen though. I'm actually in 2 hours about to go and get my nose pierced and I'm very excited. Rachel offered to go with me, so she's gonna be my moral support. and then we're also gonna have movie night afterwards. So depending on how late movie night goes, I might have time to read this after before I go to bed. I don't know if I already said this about Dark Matter, but I got the audiobook taken away from me on Libby because it like lapsed or something. So I haven't read any more of this, but I am just barely over halfway. Opinions are still the same. Things are finally starting to pick up and I'm excited to see where it goes. But I'm starting to get a little bit worried that it's day 4 and I haven't even finished a book. Okay, but here's the thing also. So I started the audiobook for the Saturday Night Ghost Club and I just really am not feeling it. I didn't even get that far in, but like, I just don't think it's my time to read this book right now. So I think that I'll pick it up again in the future sometime, but for right now, I'm just gonna like set it down, take a break. I'm having a lot more fun reading Verity and Dark Matter, so I just wanna like spend my time with those books. I have been thinking of starting the audiobook for The Last House on Needless Street though, because a lot of the people that I follow have really enjoyed that one. I think that it might also have like lights on the cover maybe, if I'm remembering the cover correctly. So I don't know, that one might be thrown into the mix. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update. I am about to sit down and film my August wrap up. Before I start filming that video though, I wanted to show you guys this. It's not related to anything I was even talking about, but this is my little Tiffany stone ghosty that I got from work the other day. The owner has been cleaning out like his garage and stuff of all of his like inventory for the store. And this was something that he had in his own collection that he was just like ready to let go of. And he was like, yeah, this is my little ghost. And I was like, I absolutely need that. I bought him and now he's going to live on my bookshelves forever. Okay, and actually I'm not even done yet. I almost forgot to tell you about the Instagram posts for yesterday and today. This was my Instagram post for yesterday. We were supposed to show our Vecna song with our current read. So I'm currently reading Verity, like I've told you guys. And then my Vecna song is Satellite from Harry Styles. I'm just obsessed with that whole entire album. And then the challenge for today was to post a picture of you wearing like an outfit from Stranger Things, like one of the characters, or just your best like 80s outfit. I chose to dress like Billy because I already had things in my closet that were similar to his outfits. He's like the king of the Canadian tuxedo, so it was perfect because I own like a million denim jackets. I also got some kind of fun footage from Sunday when I went and took this picture. Travis went with me. He was so nice and put up with me taking like a million videos and a million pictures, but we went to this really cool little alleyway in between, it's like on Main Street next to the Electric Theater, and the whole entire mural is based around iconic moments in film history. That's also where I got the day 2 picture with the books against the wall and stuff. I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to catch you up on. I don't know how much like vlogging footage I'll get today because we're not allowed to film in the piercing studio, and then I'm hanging out with Rachel after, so I'm probably not going to be filming too much. And then I also work all day tomorrow, and then I'm hanging out with Allie afterwards. So I'm probably not gonna film anything tomorrow either. So I'm just going to apologize in advance if you don't see me tomorrow, but I will for sure film something on Saturday at least. It's Sunday today, so it's the last day of the readathon. As I predicted, I didn't really vlog anything on Friday or Saturday because I was working. I did get a couple of clips though, so I'll kind of talk about those in a second. Even though you already saw clips from Thursday, I wanted to just talk about it because Thursday was so much fun. You've already kind of seen this in the clip where I was reading Verity, but this is my cute new little nose ring. I wanted a hoop, and I eventually will work towards getting a hoop, but Mandy, the one who did my piercing, kind of told me that if you start with a hoop, it can kind of tear the hole, so it's better to like start with a stud. So that's what I'm gonna do, but until then I have this cute little tiny heart stud. But I was just so impressed with the studio that I went to. It was so clean, it was decorated so cute, and all of the piercers were like so knowledgeable, and they gave me so many instructions for aftercare. Like I said on Thursday, I wasn't allowed to film the piercing process, but I tried to get a couple clips of just like the waiting room and stuff because the interior was just decorated so cool. Rachel and I went to lunch afterwards, and then we went to a record shop. Rachel and I both collect vinyl and we love music and stuff, so she's been into that record store before, but I haven't. I was looking for Two Door Cinema Club and Harry Styles' first record. but neither of those were there. But I did find a record that's been on my wish list like for over a year now. It's Imagine Dragons' first EP that they came out with. That album defines my junior year of high school. I have so many like fond memories to those songs. Demons is Allie and I's song. Like we would listen to it every single time we went to go and get swig. That album just makes me so happy, and so I found it there and I wasn't expecting it to be there. After the record store, we came back here and we watched The Nun because Rachel hadn't seen it yet. We both love the Conjuring universe movies, and The Nun is really good. It's really creepy. I like it except for the blood of Christ part, which if you've seen it, you know. I just thought it was kind of ridiculous and kind of took me out of the story, but I especially love the ending of that movie with how it kind of like connects back to the other Conjuring films. It was also the perfect movie to kick off spooky season. And then later on Thursday night when Rachel went home, I finished Verity, but I decided to film the last little bit of me reading it because I knew that I was probably going to be making some crazy facial expressions at some of the reveals that were going to happen. I was right. I ended up giving this one a 4 out of 5 stars because it was like almost unputdownable for me. I just like needed to keep reading to find out what was going to happen, and it was one of those where you sit down and read for like an hour, and when you look up you're like, oh, I forgot that I was reading, and then you realize that you've read 100 pages. I love books that suck you in like that. The reason that I gave it a 4 instead of a 5 was because I was kind of right with one of my predictions, but I was actually only partially right, and there were some other things that were surprises. I really enjoyed it, but it just wasn't my perfect book, I guess. But the other thing though is that I felt like the end, like literally the last like 10 pages, were just so info dumpy and it felt so long. So that was kind of another thing that kind of took away from the story for me. But this still was such a fun read that just like really kept my attention the whole time. It does get really dark with the content that's in it, but I feel like it makes you even more invested in the story because the stakes feel really high. And it just had me questioning a lot of things. So it was a really good thriller in my opinion. And then the next day on Friday I worked. So like I said, I didn't really film a whole lot, but I got a couple of clips. We've started decorating the store for Halloween, so I got some bats out and kind of like put them on the walls, kind of like I did at my house, but I did it in 2 different places in the store, and I think that it turned out pretty cute. And then it was a really slow day, so after I did all of like the cleaning and organizing and stuff that I could, I didn't really have anything else to do, so I decided to sit down and read Dark Matter, and I was about halfway through the book when I brought it to work with me, and I ended up finishing it that day, even before the work day was over. So I really flew through the last half of this book. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars as well. This book did a really good job of making you able to really empathize with Jason. I really was putting myself in his shoes. I felt so anxious for him to like get back to his family and to his life because you could just see how it was ripping him apart. Some of the scenes, especially towards the end, felt so intense to me. I was feeling so anxious that I actually had to like skim read most of it. My heart was like racing. I just like needed everything to work out okay. I loved all of the multiple dimension stuff and all the different outcomes that could happen. I thought that not knowing where people could end up next was a really fun part of the story because it just really kept you on your toes a little bit. One of the main things that really stressed me out in the ending was something that is kind of like bound to happen with multiple dimension stuff that for some reason I didn't really think about until it started happening, and it had me so stressed out. After I finished Dark Matter, I still had a couple of hours in the workday and I didn't bring another book with me, so I figured I would try to find an audiobook to start since I DNF'd the Saturday Night Ghost Club. So I was just going through Scribd, and one of the books that I've had on my fall TBR is The Last House on Needless Street, so I decided to start that. So I started listening to that one and it was super interesting. I would have kept reading it except for there was like some animal death and animal violence, and I just really have a hard time with that. And I thought that I could maybe push through, but there were kind of, in my opinion, some foreshadowing towards other animal death that was going to happen, and I just really can't handle it. So as much as I did want to finish that book because it was like so weird starting out, there's also a perspective, like one of the POVs is from a cat. Like I really want to know what happens, but I think that it might just be a little bit too much for me. If you've read The Last House on Needless Street, let me know if there's more like animal stuff that happens. If anything happens to that cat, absolutely not. I will not read it. And anything similar to the bird scene at the beginning, I don't want to read that kind of stuff either. So if there's not any more of that kind of stuff that happens, maybe I'll keep reading, but I don't want to keep going unless I know for sure. There was a quote from this book though that if anybody ever asks me what my favorite book quote is, I'm going to say this one. I don't remember it word for word, but it was along the lines of, I ate a pickle and then I felt better. So I didn't read anything else on Friday, but on Saturday I brought Killers of a Certain Age with me to work. I don't really think that this one fits into any of like the challenges for the readathon, but since Gwen just sent it to me, I really wanted to read it, and it was also like a thriller and stuff. Part of me kind of wonders with the author's note at the beginning if this is kind of a psychological thriller, so if it is, that would fit for one of the challenges. It says some of the dates are misleading, some of the names are lies. I'm not trying to protect the innocent, I'm trying to protect the guilty. You'll understand soon enough. So like, is the author messing with us? Is that the psychological aspect of this book? I ended up making it about 100 pages into this while I was at work yesterday, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's like dual timeline back in like the late 70s when you're kind of hearing about these women assassins as they're being brought on and trained into this organization. And then there's the other timeline, which is more current day, where they're on like their retirement trip and stuff. Things have happened really quickly though. I thought that it was going to take a lot longer for things to kind of be put into action and stuff. This book is actually really funny, and I love the banter and the conversations and the relationships between the 4 women that were assassins together. They're all together celebrating their retirement after 40 years of working for this company together. So they've spent their lives doing this really intense work together. Like, you would definitely bond after you've done some of the things that these women have done. I also think it's just really interesting hearing the perspective of women in their 60s. They're the same people as they were when they were in their 20s. And so they kind of talk about how they hate how one of the people on this cruise that's like kind of helping them is talking to them like they're toddlers and stuff. And it's funny how they kind of use that to their advantage. They do certain things to help them out in certain situations because they know they can get away with it as older women. So I'm just having a ton of fun with this book, and I think that I'm going to try to read a little bit more of it today. I really need to edit a video first though, so if I have time after that, I'll probably sit down with this. This is the last day of the readathon, but I don't think I'm going to end it here just yet. I'm going to see if I can read a little bit more of this and kind of update you a little bit, and then I'll probably try to close it out. I also forgot to say that I did find an audiobook to start. I am listening to Insomnia by Sarah Pinborough. It's a psychological thriller about a woman who thinks that by her 40th birthday, she's gonna go crazy like her mom did. And I'm liking it so far. I don't have any like super strong opinions on it, but that's what I'm going to be listening to while I do editing and stuff.
I'm an episode into some tacky but fun thriller and sunk into the sofa with a cup of tea when the doorbell.
It's a few days later, the readathon is over, but I wanted to do just kind of like a final wrap-up clip. I did finish Killers of a Certain Age. I really liked it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Right after I first finished it and I was writing my review for Goodreads and stuff, I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5. But I just keep thinking about it, and all of like the negative things that I didn't love about it, I have kind of like forgotten about at this point, and the only things that I'm really thinking about and remembering are the fun things and the things that I enjoyed about it. It was fast-paced. I loved the banter. I also really liked the attention to detail when it came to like the assassination aspects of the book. It like really went into detail about like the ways that they would kill people and like get away with it, and I just thought that it was so interesting. This book definitely wasn't a psychological thriller. In fact, I don't think I would even call it a thriller. Not that it even was like pitched to me in that way. I think that's just kind of what I assumed based off of like the premise and stuff. This is definitely just like an action book. I saw somebody on Instagram say that this was Golden Girls meets Kill Bill, which I haven't seen either of those things, but if that means anything to you, I guess those are the vibes that are in this book. I just had a really good time reading this, so like I said, 4 out of 5 stars. And then I did also finish Insomnia by Sarah Pinborough. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars as well. I didn't really talk to you too much about this one in previous clips, but this one is definitely a psychological thriller. I think that I already told you that it's about a woman who's afraid of going crazy when she turns 40 because that's what happened to her mom. A lot of the things that she remembers happening to her mom leading up to her mom's 40th birthday are starting to happen to her. She has insomnia, so she can't sleep, and then she's also losing time. Like, she'll black out and then wake up somewhere that she doesn't even remember going to. She has no idea what she's done or like anything like that, which is terrifying. She's also like repeating numbers to herself and just doing really odd things around the house and stuff. And so on top of all of those things, her family and the people around her think that she's paranoid and going crazy, and nobody believes her. If you have enjoyed any of Ruth Ware's previous books on audio, I would recommend this one on audio as well. One of my favorite things about this book was the ending. I wasn't too sure like right after I finished it if I liked it, but I've decided now that I really like it. It did something really different and it totally took me off guard. I wasn't expecting it. I think the reason that I didn't give it a full 5 is because the pacing was a little bit off, but ultimately I still really enjoyed this book, so I recommend it. Like I said, 4 stars. So this week I ended up reading 4 books. I did Killers of a Certain Age, like I said, Insomnia, Verity, and Dark Matter, and I rated all 4 of the books 4 stars. I would say that is a very successful readathon. I'm very proud of myself also for the fact that I physically read quite a few of these. I'm going to attribute most of that to reading sprints and also being so slow at work that I can just like sit down and read while I'm working. That is going to be it for this reading vlog. vlog though. Thank you so much to all of the hosts for this readathon. It was such a fun week. If you participated this week, let me know what your favorite book that you read was in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.